Okay, so we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, text number 20. Idam hi vishwam bhagavani vetaro. Idam hi vishwam bhagavani vetaro. Yato jagatstana nirodha sambhavaha. Yato jagatstana nirodha sambhavaha. Taddi swayam veda bhavam satapite. Taddi swayam veda bhavam satapite. Pradeshamatram bhavata pradarshitam. Pradeshamatram bhavata pradarshitam. Idam hi vishwam bhagavani vetaro. Yato jagasthana nirodha sambhavaha. Taddi swayam veda bhavam statapite. Pradeshamatram bhavata pradarshitam. Some of you can recite.
Idam vishwam bhagavani vetaro. Yato jagasthane nirodha sambhava. Tadhi swayam ved bhavam tathapite. Pradeshamatram bhavata pradarshitam.
Idam hi vishwam bhagavani vetaro. Yato jagatstana nirodha sambhava. Taddi swayam veda bhavam sathapite. Pradeshamatram bhavata pradarsitam.
Pradeshamatram bhavata pradarshitam. Okay, anyone last one?
Idam hi vishwam bhagavani vetaro. Yato jagasthane nirodha sambhava. Tadhi swayam ved bhavan stathapite. Pradeshamatram bhavata pradarshitam.
Whatever translation purport based divine grace. Abhay Charnarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki idam, this, he, all, Vishwam, cosmos, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, Iva, almost the same, Itaraha, different from, Yataha, from whom, Jagat, the worlds, Sthana, exist, Nirodha, annihilation, Sambhavaha, creation, Tathi, all about, Swayam, personally, Veda, no, Bhavan, your good self, Tatapi, still, Te, unto you, Pradesha Matram, a synopsis only, Bhavataha, unto you, Pradarshita, explained. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Himself this cosmos, and still He is aloof from it. From Him only has this cosmic manifestation emanated. In Him it rests, and unto Him it enters in after annihilation. Your good self knows all about this. I have given only a synopsis. Purport. For a pure devotee, the conception of Mukunda, Lord Sri Krishna, is both personal and impersonal. The impersonal cosmic situation is also Mukunda because it is the emanation of the energy of Mukunda. For example, a tree is a complete unit, whereas the leaves and the branches of the tree are emanated parts and parcels of the tree. The leaves and branches of the tree are also the tree, but the tree itself is neither the leaves nor the branches. The Vedic version that the whole cosmic creation is nothing but Brahman means that since everything is emanating from the Supreme Brahman, nothing is apart from Him. Similarly, the part and parcel, hands and legs are called the body, but the body as the whole unit is neither the hands nor the legs. The Lord is the transcendental form of eternity, cognition, and beauty, and thus the creation of the energy of the Lord appears to be partially eternal, full of knowledge, and beautiful also. The captivated conditioned souls under the influence of the external energy Maya are therefore entrapped in the network of the material nature. They accept this as all in all, for they have no information of the Lord, who is the primeval cause, nor have they information that the parts and parcels of the body, being detached from the whole body, are no longer the same hand or leg as when attached to the body. Similarly, a godless civilization detached from the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is just like a detached hand or leg. Such parts and parcels may appear like hands and legs, but they have no efficiency. The devotee of the Lord, Srila Vyasadeva, knows this very well. He is further advised by Srila Narada to expand the idea so that the entrapped conditioned souls may take lessons from him to understand the Supreme Lord as the primeval cause. According to the Vedic version, the Lord is naturally fully powerful, and thus his supreme energies are always perfect and identical with him. Both the spiritual and material skies and their paraphernalia are emanations of the internal and external energies of the Lord. External energy is comparatively inferior, whereas the internal potency is superior. The superior energy is living force, and therefore she is completely identical. But the external energy, being inert, is partially identical. But both the energies are neither equal to nor greater than the Lord, who is the generator of all energies. Such energies are always under his control. Exactly as electrical energy, however powerful it may be, is always under the control of the engineer. The human being and all other living beings are products of his internal energies. Thus, the living being is also identical with the Lord, but is never equal or superior to the personality of Godhead. The Lord and living beings are all individual persons. With the help of the material energy, the living beings are also creating something, but none of their creations are equal or superior to the creations of the Lord. The human being may create a small, playful Sputnik and may throw it into outer space, but that does not mean that he can create a planet like the Earth or Moon and float it in the air as the Lord does. Men with a poor fund of knowledge claim to be equal to the Lord. They are never equal to the Lord. This is never to be. The human being, after attaining complete perfection, may achieve a large percentage of the qualities of the Lord, say up to 78%, but it is never possible to surpass the Lord or to become equal with Him. In a deceased condition only, the foolish being claims to be one with the Lord and thus becomes misled by the illusory energy. The misguided living being therefore must accept the supremacy of the Lord and agree to render loving service to Him. For this they have been created. Without this, there cannot be any peace or tranquility in the world. Srila Vyasadeva is advised by Srila Narada to expand this idea in the Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavad Gita also the same idea is explained. Surrender fully unto the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the only business of the perfect human being. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. welcome you all for the Sunday. Oh Krishna. Okay, fine. So welcome you all for the Sunday morning Bhagavatam session. So happy to meet all of you again after a long time. So this is a very special verse. Today morning we were reading Nectar of Devotion, right? That in that Prabhupada was mentioning that Krishna, everyone has the tendency to love. No? Do you remember? Any one of you remember? morning nectar of devotion thing? What Prabhupada was telling? Anyone remembers? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Nectar of the holy names, not nectar of devotion. Sorry. Anyone remembers?
Everyone has tendency to love, so it should be directed towards Krishna. That's
Okay. Okay. No one remembers. Okay. So you see, our Kali Yuga memory is very. Yeah. Actually, that's why we need to hear again and again the same concept. Of course, there's a depth also to every concept which is mentioned in the scripture. That's why our sages, they keep on reading these books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and all the scriptures. Still, they find no end. There's no saturation to the scriptures. That's what. Because once you study a 9th class textbook, you may feel I have to study again. But these books are not like that. The more we read and the more we understand, the more we realize there's more depth. Because why? Krishna is Navayamanam. Navayavanam is ever young, ever fresh. So similarly, his message is also ever young and ever fresh. So Prabhupada was mentioning one interesting thing in the morning today, that everyone has an inclination to love someone, natural inclination. So that means only one person is the object of love, that is Krishna. And this section exactly what's happening, because Vyasadeva did not focus exclusively on the one single pointed object of worship, Krishna. That's why he was despondent. So in our life also, it's very clear, whatever we may do, if it doesn't come to this point of understanding that Krishna is the only lovable object, is the only object of worship, is the only object to be loved, until that time what will happen? One remain dissatisfied. One cannot be fully satisfied. What to speak of our life? No, Narad Muni, he has compiled Vedas, Upanishads, given Vedanta Sutra, written Mahabharata. In that Bhagavad Gita is also there. And he has given very nicely all these things. Still, he is fully despondent. He is not satisfied. Can you imagine? He has written a book, Vedanta Sutra. Philosophically, this is a very high subject matter. Even after that, focusing on the impersonal aspect of the absolute, is still dissatisfied. So what to speak of us? We don't even know anything ABCD of anything of the spirituality. Can we imagine? Can we expect ourselves to be satisfied? No, it's not possible. It's difficult. So this section is also very, very interesting section in the Srimad Bhagavatam. How the author of the Srimad Bhagavatam, how he arrived at writing Srimad Bhagavatam. So before any action, there must be some inspiration or trigger, some inspiration. So how Vyasadeva got the inspiration to write Srimad Bhagavatam is explained in this section. So who is the inspiration? Narad Muni came. So actually that's why, if you are serious in Krishna consciousness, if you are actually looking for something and wanted to pursue Krishna consciousness seriously, Krishna will send all the arrangements. It happened in Vyasadeva's case, Krishna has sent Narada. It happened in Parikshit Maharaj's case, when Parikshit Maharaj was about to leave the body in 7 days, Krishna has sent Sukadeva Goswami. It happened in Dhruva. Dhruva Maharaj, small 5-year child, he asked his mother, I need a bigger kingdom than my grandfather. How can I get? So Mother Suniti said, you have to ask from God, and where God will reside, he stays in the forest. How do I find him? I don't know. Sages go to the forest to find. So you also. So he took that instruction seriously, but he don't know how to meet Krishna. But Krishna has said Narada again. So that's how it shows that when we are actually looking to progress in Krishna consciousness seriously, we are not alone. Krishna says in 10.10, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Krishna gives intelligence, and Krishna also sends his representative. So it all depends on us. So to progress in Krishna consciousness. So Saying this, Sukdev Goswami has already um, given the process that what is very important thing in our life. What is the very important thing in life? He starts with Srimad Bhagavatam. When he starts speaking in the second canto, he starts with few of the verses that Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavya Chechata Abhayam. Of course, this repeat this Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavya, it comes in 2-3 verses actually, Bhagavatam. So, to love Krishna, Krishna is the only object of worship, but how to actually practically execute that, or to practically do something to love Krishna. To love someone, is it easy? To come together, understand each other, hear about the other person. That's how one's love uh, awakens actually. So similarly with Krishna, it's not, and for Krishna it is one interesting thing is, at least if I want to love someone here, what I have to do, I have to be with him to understand him. But the problem is, Krishna is personally not visible. Yes, Krishna is there. That is why this shloka, this training is very required to see Krishna everywhere in every aspect of our life. So that's how scriptures are meant for that. So with Krishna, if we want to love, what happens? It's little difficult because we cannot see him personally. That's why Krishna appears as deity. Krishna sends his devotees. So what is the thing? Tasmat, for this reason, Bharata Sarvatma, Sukdev Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj, oh Bharata, that means you are the descendant of Bharata dynasty. Sarvatma. Sarvatma means what? The soul of Sarva Atma, the soul of all these souls. Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari. Who is that Sarvatma? Is Bhagavan. Who is that Bhagavan? Bhagavan means, all of you know, right? Bhagavan means Aishwaryasya Samagrasya. That 6 opulences are there. If any one of you are feeling sleepy, go back and stand up. My teacher used to tell us, I tell him, my teacher used to tell that if any of you are sleeping, go back or drink something. All of you came here morning because many of you must have woken early in the morning, definitely. You feel sleepy. But one of the important thing we need to do in Bhagavatam is we have to be wrapped attentive. Not because I am speaking or any other speaker is speaking, because this is non-different from Krishna. The message of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. So just to give respect to Krishna, so we should be rapt attentive. And more importantly, we'll relish. It helps us to progress in Krishna consciousness. Shrotavya. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan. So who is Bhagavan? 6 opulences are there, but here the one attribute of Bhagavan is given. Bhagavan, who is that Bhagavan? Ishvara. Ishvara means controller, the supreme controller. So Bhagavan means controller. So everyone is a controller, tiny controllers here, but no one can be a supreme controller. So very important. So even though we speak about the Krishna sweetness, we always have to remember that Krishna is the supreme controller. And who is that controller? It is Sukdev Goswami is clarifying. Who is that? Hari. Hari means Krishna. Prabhupada is writing. Hari means the Lord who vanquishes all miseries. Everyone is looking after happiness. They want to get rid of the miseries, but they don't know how to get rid of the miseries. So here is one personality, the Lord, Hari. Just by surrendering to him, all miseries can be vanquished. But people are so foolish to accept this simple thing, to surrender unto the Lord. Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari. Shrotavya. So to establish connection with the Lord, to love Krishna, what we have to do first thing is Shrotavya. We have to hear. So in all our ISKCON centers all across the world, so every day and especially in the weekends, so morning and evening we have sessions. For what purpose? Here. So you may see here, what is so speciality about here? Yes, to know about other person we have to hear. Without hearing about any other person, how can we develop a relationship? That's how, like, if we have studied social history, we have learned about that, how Muhammad, so many Muslims came. We have learned about them. Some people get inspired about that. In Muslim Islam, just by hearing from their whoever authorities, they call Maulana or someone, just by hearing jihad, life is for jihad, and you have to die for Lord. Just by hearing that, they get inspiration. So what we are saying, hearing about Krishna will help us to love Krishna. Shotavya kirtitavyasya. Without hearing, how can we even speak about him? And without hearing and speaking, Shotavya kirtitavyasya smartavya. Without hearing and speaking about the Lord, how can we remember? So there is a concept, gigo, garbage in, garbage out. FIFO, first in, first out, like there is a gigo. What is this? Garbage in, garbage out. So whatever garbage we take through the senses. How we take information? Through the senses. Senses called jnanendriya. Whatever we take information through the senses, that only we will remember in our mind. That only thoughts will come. Is it or not? So that's why it's called garbage in, garbage out. So if we want to remember Krishna, so this is a very important thing. Shrotavya, we have to hear about Krishna. So this is very scientific. And of course, hearing about Krishna and hearing an ordinary material, ordinary sound is not on the same level. One is a material sound, other is a transcendental sound vibration. So Shrotavya, Kirtitavyascha, Smartavya. Hearing, and then after hearing, speaking, that means discussing with devotees, and then that will eventually give remembrance. And to remember the Lord always is very difficult. In the material world, somehow if we hear about some film or something, immediately that remembrance comes. But that remembrance of the Lord doesn't come so easily. So, but if we do like that, what will happen? Smartavya che chata abhayam. Abhayam means what? One becomes fearless. Everyone is fearful. In this material world, everyone is fearful. So that's why people are fearful of losing their job. Ultimate fear is death, losing relationship. So many kinds of fears are there. But if you actually be in touch with Krishna, if we love Krishna, make Krishna as the only object of worship, what will happen? We become ultimately fearless. So there's no a single formula to become fearless. Whatever we may do, we will never be fearless. You may become, you may go up to the ladder, like even the highest designation you may get in the corporate world. Still, what will happen? One cannot be fearless. Recent example, this Intel CEO was fired. All of you know, right? Intel CEO was fired. So you see, if something happens to the organization, the first person who will be fearful was CEO. Is on the top ladder. Lawyer, engineer, chalega. who thinks about him? Still, when I was working in Qualcomm, always they keep the lower staff, that engineer, the basic staff, higher in number, because low cost, they will adapt, they will hear also just fresh graduates. But as one progresses, one becomes fearful, the insecurity comes. So, but in the material world, single point of fearlessness is, this is what Shrotavya, Kirtitavyascha, Smartavya. You see, so this is so nice actually. So we are not doing any wastage of time. We are coming here discussing about Krishna. So, so as Vyasadeva is also showing one interesting thing, that even though you may indulge in so many things, even you read even Vedic literatures, but still one cannot be satisfied. That's why Bhagavatam, later Vyasadeva has written Bhagavatam with very nice conclusions, that how can we be fully satisfied. Bhagavad Gita says, if you are not satisfied, you cannot be happy. So happiness precursor is the satisfaction. But how can we be fully satisfied? Vyasadeva is also telling that you cannot be fully satisfied just by reading even Vedic literatures. What to speak of any other general novels or newspaper. People every day start their day with newspaper. One time in my office, there was a session, it was happening. They asked a single question. You know, how many of you start your day with reading the mails, going through the mails? So people start their day with even mails. But still, one cannot be satisfied. So recently we were doing book distribution. So when we were doing book distribution, we were asking one person who is working in a one hotel or restaurant. I asked him, why don't you take this small book? He said, my Malik. If my Malik sees, he will be fully angry with me. Huh? So he won't allow us to read this kind of thing in the book. So I was thinking that he's so dedicated to his master, but he's thinking that master will kick him at any point of time. He wanted to satisfy his master to the 100% degree, but he can neither satisfy his master nor his master can satisfy this person. But here we have one person, the Supreme Lord Krishna. If we have the same percentage of dedication in satisfying the Supreme Lord, what will happen? The Supreme Lord will also satisfy the living entities. Complete satisfaction. That's what Sukadeva Goswami says. Savai pumsan paro dharma yato bhakti radokshaje ahetuki apratihata e atma suprasidati. Simple formula actually. So what is that? Savai pumsan paro dharma. The only dharma, paro dharma. It's a para dharma. In Telugu we call, if someone is moody, Telugu wording is also very good in the previous generation, not nowadays. If someone is moody, someone will say paradhyanam. Paradhyanam means paradhyanam means are you absorbed in para? Para means the supreme absolute truth. Are you absorbed yourself in thinking about the Lord? That is called as paradhyanam. Somehow or other our culture encourages us to what? To focus us in remembering the Lord. Of course, he may be moody for some other reason, but in Telugu the wording is paradhyanam. The para is the trans. Savai pumsa paro dharma. So what is the supreme occupation? So Prabhupada translates very interesting thing, dharma as here paro dharma as the supreme occupation. What is the supreme occupation? All of us have certain occupation, but what is the supreme occupation? Can you imagine translating dharma as a occupation? So Prabhupada mentions in that, what is dharma? Dharma means that which sustains one existence. So occupation, why people do occupation? To sustain our existence. But what Prabhupada is telling, paro dharma means that which sustains our existence as a soul. Occupation we do to sustain the body, but paro dharma is to sustain ourself. To sustain ourself, Atma, what we require? We have to render paro dharma. Savai pumsan paro dharma. What is that paro dharma? Eto bhaktir adokshaje. We have to perform devotional service to adokshaja. Adokshaja. Savai pumsan paro dharma eto bhaktir adokshaje ahaituki apratihata. How devotional service have to be? Ahaituki means unmotivated. And what else? Uninterrupted. Ahetuki apratihata e atma suprasid. This is the formula. To be completely satisfied, what is the formula? To render devotional service, but how it has to be? Unmotivated. How it also has to be? Uninterrupted. It's a very interesting thing. So if we follow this formula, we can be completely satisfied, whether we have job or not, whether we have money or not, whatever it is. Our sages have proven that. So, but what is unmotivated? When we are performing devotional service, all of us are also going book distribution. Every day we announce the score, and we may be in the competition of getting more score. That is good. We have to perform for Krishna. But at the same time, that motivation is to, what is the motivation? We have to do that so that Krishna's glories will be preached far and wide. Prabhupada purports will be preached far and wide. That is the motive. Yes, we want to get high score, but for their pleasure. So we should not be motivated, okay. Means I am just giving an example. We should not be motivated for any other, so that I will be glorified. That can come, because that is anartha that will come. We have to overcome. In the process of devotional service, that kind of anartha comes, but we have to be conscious and overcome that. So, but normally people, why do they perform devotional service, so that they need Dhanam Dehi, Janam Dehi, no, Sundaram Dehi. They need something in return from the Supreme Lord. We are very near to Tirupati. Everyone comes. But Lord doesn't like it. That won't satisfy the self. You may make, I remember one person, one devotee making God as a partner. If I get profit, I'll give you this, I will also take. So if you are expecting anything from the Lord when I am doing something, so it's Prahlad Maharaj condemns it. It says a business. It's a businessman mentality. So I don't need anything. What I need, I want to please you. No, that is the only thing. Please your devotee, because we don't know what is that pleases Krishna. We pleases his devotee. So uninterrupted. It's not that I will do today. No, we have some people come, so I could not chant for some days. Yes, chanting in the beginning or throughout the life, it's a struggle only, because we are actually trying to bring mind, intelligence, ego, everything and focused in remembering Krishna, and that is a difficult job. What is the difficult job? Bringing mind, intelligence, ego, all the senses and focusing on the Lord, which is a difficult thing. And especially in the beginning, it's more difficult. And as we progress is also, it is also difficult. So, but still we should not stop chanting uninterrupted. Okay, today my mind is not focusing. Still no problem. I will do it for Krishna on the order of Krishna. Krishna likes it. Krishna likes us to chant his holy names. Who doesn't like to hear his names? Even if so much big crowd is there, you are there in the beginning and suddenly, whose name I should call? Pankaj Prabhu. Immediately sees, even though there are other Pankaj Prabhus may be there, he sees as if my name is being called. Who doesn't like to hear? So where from that inclination is coming? That is coming from Krishna. Krishna likes to hear his names. But of course, when I am chanting Pankaj Prabhu's name, I won't associate with him, because the name and person are different. But when I am chanting Krishna's name, the name and person are the same. So immediately I associate with him. Krishna immediately transfers his attention to that person who is chanting the names of the Lord. So that's why what happens. Krishna likes to chant. Krishna likes to hear his holy name. So we should chant whether our mind is focusing or not. Whether I like to hear sit in Bhagavatam class or not. Slowly, what happens? The taste develops. It's sure. Swadu, pade. Slowly doing what will happen will relish the taste. Till the time, we have to follow the order. On the order we should do. Unmotivated, uninterrupted. Ahaituki apratihata ye atma suprasidati. That will only completely satisfy the self. But Vyasadeva was not satisfied, because somewhere it is lacking. That's why somewhere it is lacking. So the paradharma, the dharma of the living entity is what? That which sustains its existence, that which is inseparable. Just like the sugar dharma is sweetness, the dharma of the jiva is to serve the Supreme Lord. But Vyasadeva, so one may ask question, Vyasadeva has not glorified Krishna. He has glorified Krishna, but he has not exclusive focus on Krishna. He has mentioned about Krishna in the Puranas, in the Mahabharata also. But as a matter of duty he presented, but the focus was not fully on Krishna. He has focused on Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Also he mentioned about Krishna. But Bhagavatam is teaching Dharma Projita Kaitavatra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam. In the beginning only it kicked out Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. It enters into the fifth goal of life, that is Prema. That is a very exclusive focus on Krishna. Because Vyasadeva did not fully focus, exclusive focus on Krishna, Vyasadeva was not completely satisfied. That is the reason. So that's why now when we are also not satisfied, when we are also not progressing properly, we ourselves will not be able to come out of it. We need a guidance or association of devotees. In that association, devotees will tell, you may be going in this. That's why we need friends to discuss. We need senior devotees to approach. Of course, we need some other devotees to preach also. So when we are despondent, when we are not satisfied, when something is not going on properly, we also need guidance. It's not that by ourselves we can come out. Vyasadeva is also showing that even though Vyasadeva is a literary incarnation, Shakti-Avesha avatar of the Supreme Lord, he was not unable to come out of the despondent, how much ever he thought. He was thinking, what is the reason, but still he was not able to come out. At that time, Narad Muni came and gave this thing, you have not fully focused on the Supreme Lord. So that's why Bhagavatam, later in Bhagavatam, he fully focused on the fifth Panchama Purushartha, that is the Prema Pumarto Mahan, the loving Krishna. So, I have a real life example. What happened when I joined my first organization? So I asked, as part of preaching, I asked my colleague. His name was Arjun. Oh, Arjun! I thought Arjun he will take Bhagavad Gita. I went and asked Arjun, "Would you like to take Bhagavad Gita?" What he told, my name. He called me with my legal name. So he told, first I want to read Vedas and then I will come to Bhagavad Gita. Later on I understood the compiler of the Vedas, he himself is despondent. How? By you reading Vedas, you will come to the proper conclusion. First of all, he is working. He don't have time to read one verse also. What to speak of Vedas. Second thing, he don't know Sanskrit. How he can read Sanskrit, which is also written in complex grammar. Third thing, he doesn't follow any rules and regulation. To even read Vedas, one needs to be qualified. One needs to certainly have qualification. That's why in our scriptures it's mentioned. That's why at the age of 5 to 8 years, they have this Yajnopavita samskara. Our Vamandev also, as a child, he went through that samskara. For what? Our Nimai also went through that samskara so that he can officially go to Gurukul and learn from teacher. He neither is going to teacher nor he follows rules and regulation, neither he has the time nor he understands Sanskrit, but he wanted to read Vedas. I am sure that till now he would not even touch the Vedas also. But here we are asking you read Bhagavad Gita. But Vyasadeva, what his situation is, even the person who has written the Vedas, he himself is despondent. How the person who reads them without proper guidance, how he can be fully satisfied. So that's what in Bhagavad Gita also. So I was just thinking that when I read this past time. So Narad Muni is telling that Vyasadeva, what is the big mistake you did? Every jiva has a natural inclination to enjoy. Who doesn't have an inclination to enjoy? You take any living entity, natural inclination is to enjoy. So we have to stop enjoyment. That is how. So we are here to train ourselves to stop ourselves from. Prabhupada did not say to stop enjoyment. Stop enjoying in separation, in away from Krishna. Prabhupada said Krishna consciousness means to enjoy with Krishna. So here we are trying to restrain ourselves from enjoying matter. So that requires training. So Narad Muni said that Vyasadeva, naturally every living entity has an inclination to enjoy. Now what you have done in the name of Vedic scriptures, you have encouraged everyone to enjoy, because he gave so many, you do this, you will go to Swarga. So that's what even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Yamima pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipaschita. Then Vedavada rata partha nanyad asti vadinaha. And then he says that kamatmanam swargapara. Anyone else? Janma karma falapradam kriya vishesha bahula bhogaishwarya gatim pratim. So he's telling that in the name of Vedic scriptures, what have you done? You are encouraging everyone to enjoy. You do this, you will go to Nanyat astiti vadinaha. What argument they give? There's nothing else in the Vedas. Na anyat astiti vadinaha. Only one thing is there. What is that? Sense gratification. So this is the conclusion. So that's why he's still Yamimam pushpitam vacham. Lord is immediately rejecting second chapter only. Don't get attracted to these flowery words of the Vedas. Our entire base is Vedas, but the problem is the writer of the Vedas or even the reader of Vedas, without proper guidance, what happens? One gets attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas. So If one says, I want to read Vedas, it's highly possible that he'll get attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas. Why? Because we have a natural inclination to enjoy, so that anything that aggravates our propensity to enjoy, we naturally gets attracted. That's why people get attracted in this only in the same chapter. This Narad Muni is Nayad Vachas Chitra Padam Hare Resho Jagat Pavitram Pragrinita Karijit Tadvayasam Tirtam Mushanti Manasa Nayatra Hamsa Niramantyusikshaya Tadvaam. He's telling that just like a crows, what happens? Even if you give anything, naturally they get attracted to garbage. From a long time back, I heard in one of the sessions, even when I was attending. So hog is there. Even though you give halwa, what happens? Naturally it gets attracted to the stool only. So natural inclination to enjoy. So yamimam pushpitam vacha, one gets naturally attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas. Pravadanti avipaschita. Vedavada Ratapartha. So don't get, once you enter into that dense forest, you may get even, what happens? You may get diverted also. So that's why Vedas also, without proper guidance, without understanding the essence of the Vedas and reading Vedas, what will happen? You will get deluded and get attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas, and then what will say? Kamatmana, Swargapara. What is the purpose of the Vedas? You do yajna, you do this, you do that, and go to the higher planetary systems. For a higher planetary system, for what purpose? To enjoy beautiful women, to enjoy somaras, all such things are there. The descriptions are there. But without understanding the purpose of the Vedas, if one reads Vedas, what will happen? One gets deluded and one may get attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas. So Prabhupada was mentioning, as fools are attached to the flowers of poisonous trees without knowing the results of such attractions. So you see, fools get attracted to the what? Flowers of poisonous trees, without knowing the results of such attraction. So we may also get, this is the poison. Getting attracted to the sense gratification is a poison. So that's why Rishabdev says, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya aprunoti. Nunam pramatta. One becomes, when one makes the sense gratification as the goal of life, what will happen? He will become mad. Nunam pramatta. He will become mad after sense gratification. Once one makes sense gratification as the goal of life, eventually will become mad. That's why we see increase of crimes and everything. Why previously it was not like that? Because previously everyone knows that no one keeps sense gratification as the goal of life. At least they make, oh, I have to follow, at least dharma, artha, kama, moksha, something like that. No, following the orders of the Lord. Now, in the current culture, Prabhupada is mentioning in the current purport also, it's a godless civilization. You have completely removed God out of the picture. Then godless civilization, what can you expect? You know, godless civilization, what can you expect? So it's a poison. It's a poisonous to get attracted to the sense gratification, and that too in the name of Vedic literature. So Narad Muni was pointing to Vyasadeva. So, but now what happened? Vyasadeva is explaining, this is the root cause. Now what is explaining? Now what you do? Narad Muni is telling that you please completely focus on Srimad Bhagavatam. He already started explaining that. No, last time also we have heard that from Prabhuji. What is that? What is that shloka beginning? No, not Tadvaga. This one. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovito nalabhyate yad brahmatam uparyada tallabhate dukkha vadanyata sukam kalena sarvatra gabira ramasa. So it's very nice instruction that don't work for something, don't search for something which is easily available in the material world. What is easily available? As per Bhagavata, miseries are easily available. Similarly, material happiness is also easily available. This is a very interesting message of Bhagavatam. Just like miseries are easily available, no one wants it available. Similarly, material happiness also, one need not to strive for it. That is the point. One need not to strive for it. But entire material world, entire civilization, what happens? They run after it, run after money, make the money as the goal, running after money. But what Bhagavatam is telling, Don't try after this thing which is easily available. You need not to try for it. But tasyaiva heto prayateda kovito na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyata. You try for something that is not easily available in the 14 planetary systems. First of all, we need to know what is 14 planetary system and what is not available in the 14 planetary system. And Narad Muni is telling that you tell about that subject which is not easily available in the 14 planetary system. Money is easily available, woman, everything is easily available. Miseries, everyone wants to come out of miseries, but still one is afflicted with miseries. Afflicted with miseries. There was one lady who is the owner of a chain of hotels. That there was a one question and answer, like no, there's an interview with her. The reporter asked, "Are you happy now? You are the biggest, rich person." So she said that I can whatever I want I'll get. I can order and immediately I get, but still I am not happy. I am not satisfied. Why? Because I don't have any good friend. I don't have any friend. Why? Because everyone is interested in my money, but no one is interested in me. You see what is her problem? No one is there to exchange also. Prabhupada was mentioning everyone has an inclination to love and to be loved. That is ultimately everyone needs, to love and to be loved. But what her problem is, she has the money to get everything, but no one is there to exchange love. Everyone is interested in her own money, not interested in her. So similarly, this is same applicable to Krishna also. If you come in interest, if you are interested in something from Krishna, Krishna is not interested. But rather, what we are trying to do, we are trying to develop interest in Krishna himself. This is a very nice analogy I give many times. There's one king, on his birthday occasion, he proclaimed that whatever you need today, I'll give. Whatever you ask me, I will give. So everyone came. One person came and asked, I need a land. One person came and asked, I need an employment. One person came and asked, you give me gold. But last, a old woman and came and she asked, what do you need? Old woman said, I need you. Who is intelligent among all of them? The person who asked gold, who asked employment, who asked some land, who asked some grains. Who is intelligent? This old woman. She asked the king itself. Why? King himself. Why? Once king is there, everything else is there. So similarly, we are interested in Krishna. We are not interested in anything that we get from Krishna. So this is called unmotivated. So already Narada started explaining that try for something which is not available in the 14 planetary system. What is that? And Vyasadeva explains in Srimad Bhagavatam. What is that not easily available? The pure devotional service. The love of Krishna is not easily available. So, and just before, so now one may say, one practices devotional service, but one may not complete it. One may not attain the perfection in devotional service. So what will happen to that person? So previous shloka is that, Navai Jano Jato. So in that, Narad Muni is telling no problem. Even if one practices devotional service, but one does not complete it. Of course, we should complete it, but it's a natural question. Like, for example, you have joined IAS coaching. Now, what will happen? You have not completed it. We have so many cases, people have done 4 years, 5 years, but still they could not. What will happen if I am not able to complete it? They will be morosed only. Those who could not get through IAS or IIT, they will be morosed. But here, one may ask a similar question. Okay, I came in touch with the Lord, I practiced a devotional service, but still I could not take it to perfection, I could not complete it. So Narad Muni is telling, no problem. The devotee fall down is not same as the person who has not practiced and falling down. It's not, both are not same. One is like a orphan and other is a son who is away from father. So orphan, no one is there to take care of him. So he will be definitely in distress. But a person, a son who actually lost the contact with the father, but father still, the son who has gone away from father, but still father keeps the eye on the son, vigilance. So similarly, A person, normal person who has not practiced the Krishna consciousness and he falling down, he naturally is already fallen down, but still no one is there to take care of him. But a devotee, what will happen? Krishna, once one comes in touch with Krishna, Krishna never loses that jiva. He does something or other so that he'll come back to him. So devotional service in any angle is wonderful because Krishna. So in the Bhakti Yoga, one interesting thing is we are not alone. We are not alone. Krishna is always with us. Krishna is always with us. That's why Krishna is telling Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I am there to give inspiration. I am there to give intelligence. So in Bhakti Yoga, this is a very, very interesting thing that we are not alone. We are not alone performing devotional service. Without the support of the Krishna, we can never perform devotional service. This is the causeless mercy of the Krishna. So that's how Narad Muni is telling that, encouraging you please focus on pure devotional service. So even if one is not able to complete, no problem, there's no risk. That's why Bhagavad Gita also says that. You see, Neha Bhikramana Sosti Pratyavayo Na Vidyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bayat. That saves one from Neha Bhikramana Sosti Pratyavayo. Swalpam, even a little, one renders devotional service, what will happen? You will be protected from the greatest type of danger. So that's why it's a great responsibility on devotees to introduce everyone even a little. Now once they are introduced a little, now it's all up to the jiva. Yes, obviously, right? Now in the beginning what happens? You will get so much attention. Prabhu, you do this. Prabhu, you do this. But as you progresses, no one is there to put attention on you. Now you have to put attention on others. So it's a devotee's responsibility to introduce everyone to Krishna consciousness so that they'll be protected from the greatest type of danger. So Narad Muni is confirming here in Bhagavatam, Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita. So now after telling that, suddenly we are here in the shloka, Idam hi Vishnu Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetaro. So there are three things in this. In the second line is Jagasthana Nirodha Sambhava. So suddenly you see from somewhere to somewhere he was talking about devotees fall down, what will happen. But suddenly now he is talking something philosophy. Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetaro. So Yato Jagasthana Nirodha Sambhava Taddi Swayam Veda Bhavam Satapite Pradesha Matram Bhavata Pradarshitam. So I was having this question, like for example, when I am speaking to some devotee, naturally when I am asking some question, he will reply to that question. Like there will not be incoherent communication, right? So if I am saying something, the other person is saying something, that means that conversation is not coherent. He will feel, what, wow, is a mad person or what, is speaking something. So similarly, when I was reading Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna is asking some question and Krishna is answering something. Like for example, in second chapter he asks, what are the symptoms of a pure devotee? Ki Bhashya, in the 2.7 to 2.65 to 2.72, he asks what are the symptoms, and what Krishna is telling, how devotee will speak, So, means there should be some symptoms of a devotional service, right? Like for example, you are practicing, that there should be symptoms to identify that. Arjuna naturally is asking that question. What Krishna is telling? Is telling, one of the answer is, my devotees, how do they speak? Tathenu kampa. I am not quoting that shloka, but I am quoting shloka from Bhagavad. Tathenu kampa susamikshamano bhunjana eva prakritam vibhagam hitva vapurvir vidadhanamaste jive tayo mukti pade sadayaba. So you see what is the answer between question, how devotee speaks? One who is a pure devotee, how he speaks? He speaks like that. What he speaks when he goes through trouble, what he will say? He will not blame God. He will say, oh Krishna, actually I am supposed to get lot of miseries, but out of your causeless mercy you have made from this to this thing. And why you have made only this thing? Why you have not made it to zero? Because you wanted me to purify, and through this you wanted to purify. What is that? Gunjana evatma kritam vibhagam. And devotee what will think? This is, I have done sinful activity and this is a perfect punishment for me. And by that what he will do? He will keep on Hridva Baburbir Vidada Namaste. He will, with mind, with the body, with the words, he continue to glorify Krishna. This is how devotee speaks. I was not answering what is this question, what is this answer. How devotee speaks? Devotee speaks in all situation. Oh Krishna, this is your mercy. What I am going through, because of your causeless mercy, I am supposed to go through lot of punishment. You have given me little, and this also for to purify me. And still I will continue to glorify you. Means it appears incoherent communication, but only when I heard from devotees, wonderful. How a devotee walks, this is also another interesting thing. How a devotee walks, a pure devotee walks. So Krishna gives the tortoise example. When he uses the senses in the service of the Lord, when not required, he will withdraw the senses. This is how devotee interacts with the material. This is how he walks in the material world. You see? So to understand, it appears incoherent, but Krishna is perfectly answering the question. So similarly, suddenly Narad Muni is bringing the concept of Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavani Vetar. What does it mean? Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is this cosmos. What is the connection between previous sloka to this sloka? So what he wanted to tell Narad Muni, with this we understand from the commentaries of Acharyas only. So what he is trying to say, even those orphans are also, because he was talking about orphan and devotee person who is connected with father. So orphans are also connected to Krishna. This is the point he wanted to make. No one is disconnected from Krishna. So whatever we see in this creation, living entities, the matter, everything is connected to Krishna. And this is a philosophically also is bringing the concept of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattvam. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is himself this cosmos. So he was talking about this Jagat Sthana Nirodha Sambhava. What is this Jagat Sthana Nirodha Sambhava? What is the Supreme Lord? From him only this cosmic manifestation is emanated. That's called Jagat. Sthana means he is the one who is actually maintaining. And Nirodha means what? He is the one who destroys. That means Supreme Lord is the one who creates, who maintains, and ultimately he who destroys. That is the concept is also bringing in. This is the Supreme Lord. And very nice. What is your good name? Aditya. Big Haribol to Aditya Panda. Haribol. So he was not shy in getting up and standing. No, someone gets that feeling of what everyone will think. So Aditya, I think, is keen in hearing this message. So thank you. So Jagasthana Nirodha Sambhava. Krishna is the one who creates, who maintains, and who destroys. So this is the concept Narad Muni is bringing and is telling to Vyasadeva. So exactly just like Bhagavad Gita has a Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam also has Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So the first verse of Chatushloki Bhagavatam also says Aham evasam evagre nanyat yat satasat param tasmad yat etacha yova shishyeta swasmeham. So Krishna is telling, before creation I exist. Even while the creation, everything rests in me. After the creation, I am the only one who exists. Paschat aham etacha yova shishya. The remainder is also Krishna only. So you see, the modern science is trying to, what it's trying? The source of the creation. The source of what existed before the creation. This is a very mysterious question even to the modern science. What is that has existed before the creation? No, science has formulated this Big Bang theory at certain point of time. Nothing exists, suddenly something came, big blast happened. That's called Big Bang theory. But Krishna is telling that creation comes from me. Everything emanates from me. Bhagavad Gita also Krishna tells Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. So Aham Evasam Evagre. Before the creation, I exist. Before the creation, I exist. Even during the creation is going on, everything is resting in me. After that, everything, it will be dissolved. So before creation, what actually existed? Krishna existed. So now, because now we are also studying modern science, but we are also studying Vedic science. So now, when we study modern science, we understand everything was zero before the creation. But as per the Vedic science, Bhagavatam, what it's telling, before the creation, actually creation means this material creation. Before the creation, what exists? Krishna exists, total material energy exists, spiritual world exists, so everything exists. So this is what we know from Bhagavatam. So nothing comes from zero. So it's a foolishness to say that everything was zero and suddenly something came. Then I don't have money, no. Suddenly money should come in my life. Why should I work so hard? From zero, I am poor, but money should come suddenly. I will follow your Big Bang theory. Doesn't happen. On the contrary, it's a hypocrite. No, one has to work very hard. We also say survival of the fittest. The more you work hard, you can only survive. So there's both are like opposite theories. On one hand side, from zero everything came. On other hand side, you have to work hard. From Bhagavatam, it's very clear that before this creation, what was there? Krishna is there. So we also know the process of creation. It happened. It's not only that, like in Christianity, what is it? God has, like Father. They call Father. Father desired that let there be creation. That's it. That is the only statement you may find. You don't find much details in the Christianity. Let there be creation. Yes, in Bhagavatam also, that out of the sweet will of the Lord desired to create, and then creation happened. But Bhagavatam doesn't stop only with this statement. Bhagavatam even expands the statement that how exactly creation happened. How exactly creation happened? On the corner of the spiritual world, there is a total material energy. That total material energy is called Pradhan. That is a total. It's a repository of. It's a total material energy. What is Pradhan? Pradhan is total material energy. It's unmanifested, undifferentiated. That means it's not manifested. It's not different. That means you won't find the modes of nature. It's an unmanifested thing. That's a Pradhan. That means material energy in its original state. That is Pradhan. So now what happened? Let there be creation. Let there be creation. So and then Krishna, when he desired to create, what happened? He has glanced on the total material energy. That's called Pradhan. As soon as the Lord glanced over the Pradhan, what happened? The Pradhan got agitated. And from Pradhan, which is unmanifested energy, comes into the manifested energy. You may say these are all big terms, right? But Bhagavatam describes in detail in third canto. You may become mad also. But the thing is, what Bhagavatam is telling, it's not only that God has created, but how God has created. How the sweet will of the Lord manifested into creation. Because now we are understanding that from me, creation. That means from Krishna is telling, from me everything came. Creation came. So how it came? Third canto, full detail. I'm just giving a synopsis. That Krishna glanced over the total material energy which is unmanifested. From unmanifested total energy came manifested energy that got agitated. That is called Mahatattva. In Mahatattva, it's a manifested and it's a variety is also there. It's a variety is also. What is the variety? In Mahatattva, false ego is there, three modes of material nature is there. Now what will happen? False ego and the three modes of the material nature, they interact. From false ego with mode of goodness, what comes? Mind. So my teacher used to say always, if you want to satisfy the mind, if you want to be situated the constitutionally, basically the mind should be situated in the mode of goodness. Only when mind is situated in the mode of goodness, what will happen? Mind naturally will be satisfied. That means it won't be agitated. Why our mind keeps on agitating? Because our mind is not situated in the mode of goodness, rather it is in the mode of passion or ignorance. So false ego with mode of goodness is mind, not only mind, demigods also. False ego with passion, intelligence, senses, sense objects. False ego with mode of ignorance, these five material elements. You see, so but the thing is, even after you understand this, you cannot replicate this. Why? Why you cannot replicate? You may say this we want to replicate model. You cannot replicate because the glance of the Supreme Lord is required. The intervention of the Supreme Lord is required only when that material energy acts. So that's why, in Vedas, the sound is the beginning of the creation. But before the sound, all these also came. And false ego with mode of ignorance, what happens? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, and the tanmatra, sound, touch, all of them come. And then the last thing is the sound, and from sound, entire creation happens. That's why sound is the beginning of the creation. This is how creation it happens. So Krishna is telling, from me creation happens. And then he's maintaining. How he maintains? Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita very nicely that Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidastit Dhananjaya Mai Sarvam Idam Protam Sutre Maniganavya. Everything, like, when you see a necklace, what will happen? Only you will see the pearls, but you won't see the thread. So similarly, just like this dress, this is there are vertical threads, horizontal threads. That's why Om is called Otam Protam Iti Om. So horizontal, vertical threads are there, but we are not able to see the thread, but we are seeing the cloth. So similarly, Krishna's hand is there in everything, just like the thread is maintaining. Krishna is supplying this air. No one, how from air, from where it is coming, we are not purchasing air. Fortunately, so far in the modern world, still we are not purchasing. Time may come, we may have to purchase this also. COVID time it happened, oxygen. So, so Krishna's intervention is there in everything, but it's like a hidden thread. So to see the hidden thread, one has to know the art of making jewelry. Then only know. So similarly, what are we trying to do? By this practice of hearing about the Supreme Lord, hearing from scriptures, what are we trying to do? We are learning the art of seeing the thread behind the pearls. That is what we are trying to do. Because normally this thread is not visible. Only the person who knows the art of making jewelry, he knows that. So similarly, what we are trying to do, we are trying to learn, we are training ourselves to see the Krishna, how he is preparing everything, just like this, in the background, the thread. The person sees the creation. Person sees the creation, beautiful creation. But what he won't see? He won't see the creator behind the creation, and our Vedic scriptures are teaching, you have to see the creator behind the creation. Modern science only stops in seeing the creation and analyzing the creation, but Vedic science is teaching, start seeing creator behind creation. This is like a thread behind the pearl. That's how he maintains. Of course, we see from Vedic science, Bhagavatam, that Krishna expands into slowly that Mahavishnu, Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, Kshirodak Sai Vishnu. So when universe emanated in the seed format, for example, if Krishna did not expand into Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, what will happen? What will happen? So what will happen? When universe emanated in the seed format, just like father and mother, when they unite, half cell of mother, half cell of father, in a seed format. But only when Atma enters, what will happen? That half of chromosome of cell, what will happen? Becomes a one cell and starts growing. So similarly, the universe was in a seed format. What will happen if Garbhodak Sai Vishnu don't enter? That seed remains seed, it won't grow. The universe is growing, right? That universe grown into our universe 4.3 billion miles. So similarly, if Garbhodak Sai Vishnu did not expand into Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, what will happen? What would have happened? Brahma Samhita says, Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. Garbhodak Sai Vishnu expand into Kshirodak Sai Vishnu and enter into every atom. So what happened if every atom Krishna did not have entered? What will happen? No motion in the electron, proton, whatever, this won't work. So that means everything is working because of Krishna. You see, what is the training we are getting from the scriptures? The training to see Krishna behind everything. So that's everything is resting on him while creation is going on also. Ultimately the destruction. So when the universe dissolves, there are four kinds of, Sukdev Goswami talks about four kinds of annihilation. But the two major things are, first thing is when Brahmaji goes to sleep. All of us know, right? What is that? Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. What is that? Brahmaji's day and night, 1000 Divya Yugas. So when he goes into sleep, he also goes to sleep for 1000 Divya Yugas. 1000 into 4, Kali, Treta, Dvapara, Satya Yuga. That much time he sleep. That also annihilation happens. But at that time, these 24 elements, they were not destroyed. But everything enters into the Garbhodak Sai Vishnu. But complete annihilation happens, including destruction of all the 24 elements. That happens when what? When Brahmaji's 100-year lifespan is completed. At that time, everything enters again into the Mahavishnu. So you see, if we create something in the material world, it is irreversible. Once you create something, you cannot reverse it. Like, we are having the problem banning this polythenes. It takes so many years to, decompose. So once you create something, it's irreversible. But Krishna's creation is so wonderful. He created in certain way, and annihilation also comes in exactly reverse way. What will happen? Earth mixes with water, water, air, like that it goes. And then what happens? Mahatattva mixes with all the three modes of the material nature, and then again enters into Pradhan. It's a perfect reversible process. So that's why Krishna's in the creation also, you see our Vedic civilization is also what? Reversible. You prepare out of mud, you prepare a pot used to get decomposed. Everything, it's so nice. That's why it's called sustainable civilization. But now it's not sustainable. So much pollution, air pollution, water. So that's why godless civilization is the root cause of all the problems that we have to understand. So that's Bhagavatam is giving us eyes to see Krishna behind everything. So annihilation. So that's so this word Jagat Sthana Nirodha Sambhava. But Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetaro. So how Krishna is this creation? This is something interesting, that Krishna is this creation. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning. Supreme Personality of Godhead is himself this cosmos. How God is this cosmos? So this is how a person, Supreme Person is this cosmos. This is another concept which our scriptures keep on talking about it. Our Bhagavad Gita also talks about that. Anyone knows which shloka talks about this concept? The same concept? No, you may be knowing. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina mastani sarvabhutani nachaham tesha avastita. So Krishna is telling, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina. I am there everywhere. I am manifest everywhere in my avyakta murtina, in my unmanifested form. So, but Krishna is telling, by me in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded, but all beings are in me, but I am not in them. So Krishna is telling, I am there everywhere through my energies, but I am not there personally. I am also resides. So people naturally ask the question, if I am there everywhere, does that mean God is a Nirakar? God is some light or God is some energy? No. Krishna is telling, no. Through my energies I am pervading everywhere, but at the same time I am a person. This is where Mayavadis bring that concept of Nirakarvad, Advaitvad. God is ultimately a Nirakar. Otherwise, how is it possible that God is pervading everywhere? That means they are thinking that from their own shoes, that if I am a person, I can be here, but I cannot be there outside, or I cannot be there in other room. Similarly, I am projecting, it's called projection. I am projecting my own understanding onto the God, thinking, if I am like this, God also must be like that. God also cannot stay at one place and also spread everywhere. That's why the conclusion is, what? God is Nirakar, ultimately Nirakar. That is the wrong thing. Advaitva, that's why it's condemned by all our Vaishnavacharyas. So, Maya Tattam. So, this brings the concept of Shakti and Shaktiman. Krishna is Shaktiman, energetic. And Krishna has many energies. Parasya Shakti, Ruvizaiva Shriyate. So, Krishna, through his energies, is expanded everywhere. But Krishna also has a personal form, that he stays in his own spiritual abode, Golaka Vrindavan. Not only there, in Vaikuntha also. So, very nice example Prabhupada gives in that purport, that a king is ruling a kingdom. His presence is seen all over the kingdom. How? By his rule, by his policies. But that does not mean king is there everywhere. Entire kingdom is going on because of the influence of king. So similarly, a corporate organization goes that CEO, because of CEO policies, rules and regulation, it is going. Everyone works as per that. One can feel the presence of CEO there, but that doesn't mean CEO is present there. So similarly, this same thing, Krishna through his energies is spread everywhere, but at the same time is not personally present. So this brings the concept of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, which Narad Muni is also telling. Idami Vishwan Bhagwan Ivetaro. This Krishna is simultaneously one with his energies and different from his energy. This is Shakti, Shaktiman, Abheda. Shakti, Shaktiman, Abhinna. No difference. So, energies of Krishna are simultaneously one with Krishna and also different from Krishna. Energy, we are also marginal energy. Jiva is also simultaneously one with Krishna and at the same time different from Krishna. So we can see from both the things, material nature and the Jiva. How Jiva is one with Krishna? Quality, Sat Chit Ananda. Krishna is also Sachidananda Vigraha, is a person. He has the Sat Chit Ananda, his body is made up of. So similarly, Atma is also Sachidananda, but the quality wise same, quantity wise, Jiva is infinitesimal, God is infinite. For I can tell one example. So in our office we are working to bring a chip. How many people were? So many people work for so many months to bring something. But for God, creation happened just by a sweet will. Let there be creation happened actually. So we are infinite. How much ever, Prabhupada is also mentioning how we may try to send some small Sputnik over the sky, but God is making to float so many big bodies, so many big bodies. So that's why we are infinitesimal, God is infinite. So recent news is that ISRO has done something PSLV-4 so that it can dock itself in the space station. This is the greatest achievement in India so far. But God has made something which can float itself, no need of docking also. It can float itself. No, that's by the help of gravitational pull. But no one gives the credit to the Supreme Lord. But this becomes a great news in the newspapers and TV channels. No, our ISRO has done something wonderful. It has become the fourth nation to dock itself in the space station. But why don't you appreciate the God, the Supreme Lord? So this is why ISKCON temples are for this purpose, to give credit to the Supreme Lord. So now one with the Lord. Jiva is one with the Lord in quality, Sachidananda, but in quantity, what? Infinitesimal, infinite. Not only that, this Prakriti, this material nature, this creation is also one with the Lord, but at the same time different from the Lord. That's why here this is the cosmos. So how it is one with the Lord? The qualities of the Lord we can see in the creation. What is that quality? Krishna has given his qualities to this creation. For example, earth is like a mother, tolerant. So Krishna has given his tolerance power to earth. Effulgence of the sun. That's why Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Tejas Tejasvi Namaham. Krishna has given his effulgence to this creation. Krishna, the cold, now that winter season is going on, the coolness. Krishna is originally cool. He is always cool. That Shitalta, that quality has given to this creation. And Krishna talks about this in 10th chapter. Buddhir Buddhimatam Asmi, Tejas Tejasvinamaham, Chalayam Chalayatam Asmi. Like that he goes on speaking about in 10th chapter. So this Krishna is one with the creation and at the same time different from creation. So that's called Shakti Shaktiman Abhedayam. So living entity are one with the Lord, material nature is also one with the Lord, but at the same time they are different. So now one person asked a question to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, you are saying this creation is also Krishna. Can I worship chappal? Can I worship chappal? Prabhupada said, rascal them. This is the verse. What is that? Maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyaktam namastani sarvabhutani nachaham teshu avasthitaya. Chappal is also energy of Krishna, but it is not Krishna. So you cannot worship. So there is one feeling came actually. Oh my God, that was one movie which came long time back, around 6-7 years. Our ISKCON devotees, one of the devotees have prepared some counter arguments to tell. I was also thinking, Arey, such kind of wonderful arguments are given in Oh my God, which will destroy the faith of the people in the God. One of the thing is, our devotee has given, water is everywhere in the form of vapor. Why don't you drink water like that? You are understanding? So the devotee very nicely is saying that water is everywhere in the form of vapor, but why don't you drink water by using your tongue and then drink water? No. So similarly, even though God is everywhere, still you have to come to the temple and to worship Krishna. Why? One of the reasons is we have not realized realized God's presence everywhere. It's only theoretical information for us. That's why this brings us to the concept of Uttamadhikari. What is the concept of Uttamadhikari? Ya pashe sarva bhuteshu bhagavad bhavam atmanaha. Ya pashe sarva bhuteshu. That means in everything, sarva bhuteshu, all the living entities, everything, what he will do? He will see Krishna. Ya pashe sarva bhuteshu bhagavad bhavam atmanaha is called Uttamadhikari. For him, what happens? Krishna is never separated, and that means living entity and the Krishna, they are in union, because this is called love. A lover, what he does? He sees his beloved everywhere, all the time. So, ya pashe sarva bhuteshu bhagavad bhavam atmanaha. To see Krishna everywhere. So, this is called love. That's why Krishna says Satatam Kirtam Tamam. So, with this, there are so many other things, but now we are already reached 9 am. Krishna is also talking about Maya. I'll just tell something about Maya. What is Maya? When you see something disconnected from Krishna, it is called Maya. Ritayartham et prativeta. So in this one, that's why Narada started telling to Vyasadeva that even orphans are connected. So that means nothing is disconnected from Krishna. So Prabhupada says it is very easy to become Krishna conscious. Why? People say, I am going to office, I may forget God. I am going to my relative's house, I may forget God, Krishna. No. A person who is trained in this subject matter, he can see Krishna everywhere. The problem is, still we are not trained to see Krishna everywhere in everything. That's where we have a difficulty in seeing connection of everything with Krishna. When that happens, then we are not in Maya. Because we are not able to connect everything with Krishna, what is happening? We are in illusion. So, but when we train ourselves to see Krishna in everything, that means to reach the platform of Uttamadhikari, then what will happen? Krishna will be never separated from us. So that's why even while being in the material world, we can be Krishna conscious, even while driving, even while taking bath, even while walking, even while working, even while drinking. Everything, we can do every activity, means of course under Shastric injection, but we can still remain Krishna conscious. Arjuna was Krishna conscious even while throwing arrows. So that means our day-to-day activities can also be Krishna conscious. But the thing is, this training is required to see Krishna everywhere. So in short, in conclusion, I'll conclude, nothing is disconnected from Krishna. So that means when I am seeing devotee also, I should see him. If not everything, at least when I am seeing devotee, I should see he is connected with Krishna. At least that will help me to interact with him in a very nice way, so that we can avoid offenses also. But the thing is, when we see connection with Krishna, immediately what is that will happen? I will try to use that in the service of the Lord, not for my sense gratification. So, and this can also help us to see Lord Krishna everywhere. Wherever we go, we can see Krishna. And what is the advantage of then we can remember Krishna and we can be Krishna conscious. What is meant by Krishna conscious? Conscious of Krishna at every moment, at every phase of life. That is called Krishna consciousness. So when we have this kind of understanding, when we realize this, we can be Krishna conscious always. So most importantly, we can also be conscious of Krishna while chanting. That is the problem. Problem is we are not conscious of Krishna even while chanting. But this knowledge will help us to be conscious of Krishna always, and especially while chanting. And that will help us to chant in a better way. And when we chant nicely, we can associate with Krishna in a wonderful way. And I'm ending this verse with one thing. So all the rules and regulations of the scriptures are the subservients of this one rule. If you remember this one rule, that means all the rules are for this one rule only. Anyone knows what is that rule? Smartavyo satatam Vishnu vismartavyo na jatuchit sarve vidhi nishedashyut etayor eva kinkaraha. Kinkara means all the rules and regulations what we follow, waking up early in the morning, chanting, reading, hearing, rendering service to devotees, what book distribution, but everything is for this rule. This is the one rule. Smartavyo satatam Vishnu. Always remember Krishna Vismartavyo na jatu chit. Never forget Krishna. This is the rule. So, and this shloka is very nice explaining that how by being in the material world also we can be Krishna conscious and we can remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any one or two questions? One or two questions, yeah. No questions? That means you understood everything. Wow, wonderful. So, yes.
Thank you for the lecture, Prabhuji. And you gave like very nice point that how to remember this. We hear and listen, then we will get it right.
Sorry, Prabhu, we hear?
If we hear and listen, then we will get the remembrance of Krishna. That point I like.
Oh, okay, very good, Prabhu.
So, Prabhuji, I have one doubt in the lecture. Material happiness is easily available, one need not strive for it. So we get the point where practicing and all misery is तो पक्का है. But happiness कैसा है हमको, like how can we realize that?
So many case studies are there. I have, because I am from Telangana, I have one case study. You know, this Ramoji Rao. You know Ramoji Rao? I don't know whether he passed his body, he left his body. I think last year, 2024, he passed. So this Ramoji Rao, he was a person. You know how he became a Ramoji Rao? He was a person, he used to sell pickles. Prepare pickles at his home, sell pickles on cycle, bicycle. You know, bicycle. He used to go and sell bikes. But that person became Ramoji Rao. Later he became the big owner of this Priya Pickles. He is the owner of this, what is Ramoji Film City. He is big entrepreneur. So many other peoples also afterwards who were selling pickles but could not become Ramoji Rao. Now what else do you need an example? So if he followed certain process, he has reached that stage. I should also follow that process. I should also reach that state. Logical? But that did not happen with many other pickle owners. They were only Sarja road mein, hai. They were also still on the roads only, still selling small pickles here and there. So this is the case study. What Bhagavatam is telling, why he became rich? Because of his previous pious credit. It's not that any person who sells pickles will become a entrepreneur. The Google CEO, what is Sundar Pichai, he studied in he studied here, Google Pichai. So not this one, this Nadella, Satya Nadella. He studied in our Karnataka only. What is this? Manipal. Who said? Manipal. Who said? Achha, Manipal. He's from Manipal. You know, can you imagine anyone who passes out from Manipal, who is Satya Nadella, right? Can he become CEO of Microsoft? I studied in IIT. Still I am an engineer in synaptics only. Still, can you imagine? So many ways to see. That's why we have to open our eyes wide and see. Things will be visible everywhere. Any person who passed out from Manipal College cannot become CEO. And it's guaranteed also. How many are passed out? How many are not become? So because he must have desired intensely in his previous life. Because of his previous life credits, he became a CEO. Shall I tell you more examples? You can also see. Understood? So this is what Bhagavatam is telling. Tasyaiva heto prayateda kovito na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyada tallabhyate dukkha vadanyata sukham kalena sarvatra gabira rama. So don't strive for something which is easily available. So Prabhupada says, agar chase karna hai to rhinos. Ghenda ko chase karna hai. No? There is a book also. Chase the rhinos. If you want to strive for pure devotional service which is easily not available. Then your life will be glorious and Krishna will say, wow, what is your good name? Huh? Sanjay. Sanjay has done wonderful thing, chasing a rhinos. Whether he chased or not, he did a wonderful job in this life. Okay? Hare Krishna. Any?
And in Hinduism, one concept is that Brahma is the creator and Vishnu is the preserver and Shiva is the destroyer.
Yeah.
That concept is wrong.
That concept is also still valid. So Brahmaji is called a secondary creator. So, for example, when someone builds a house, what do you need? You need sand. Like for example, Bangalore metro is going on from quite many years. Every day I go to Bellandur, I see a metro. So what do you need for metro construction? You need iron, you need cement, you need sand. But who has created all of the? Krishna. These are all materials. But who has architected them? That Brahma is called architect. He has used all these 24 elements and has created. That's why secondary creator. Now you are asking about a Vishnu as a maintainer. Vishnu is expansion of Krishna. No one can else maintain this creation. So that's why Krishna expanded into Vishnu to maintain. Now who is Rudra? Rudra dissolves this entire creation, but Krishna, to being in touch with the material nature, he expands as Lord Shiva. So this concept is also valid. Brahma takes care of creation, but it's not primary creation, it's a secondary creation. Bhagavatam talks about two creations, Sarga and Visarga. Sarga is primary creation, Visarga is secondary creation. So Brahmaji takes care of secondary creation, Vishnu which is takes care of the most difficult part, which is a maintenance. So all of us also come in touch with Krishna consciousness, but to maintain that we require the support of Krishna. So don't drop it. And destruction, Krishna again expands as Vishnu. That's why Bhagavatam says Vishnu, Lord Shiva is almost the same as Krishna, but not Krishna. So that concept is also still valid. Okay. One last question. Okay.
In the purport, Prabhupada writes that the superior energy is the living force and is therefore are completely identical, whereas external energy, being inert, is partially identical. So, what is the meaning of partially identical? Because everything, all energy of Krishna being identical.
It's not, Prabhupada is very, that's why it is called inferior, that is the question, right? Para and Apara Shakti, why it is inferior, why it is not superior. Prabhupada is bringing the concept inferior, but if everything is identical with the Lord, why it is called as inferior? You know? So this material world we see, like for example, this is this matter, this is the manifestation of the material energy of the Lord. If no devotee touches it, if no devotee touches it, what will happen? It remains forever here only. You know? This is called inert. That means by itself it doesn't have a conscious. But in the spiritual world, what will happen? Water is also flowing. Yamuna is flowing. But Yamuna can also take the form of Yamuna Devi. And then what will happen when Krishna feels thirsty in the Goloka Vrindavan? What will happen? When he comes to even our Bombay Vrindavan also. When Krishna becomes thirsty, Krishna doesn't go to drink water. Sometimes he also goes with covert friends. But what will happen? Yamuna Devi, she comes as a woman, gopi form, and then she comes and gives water to Krishna and she quenches the thirst of Krishna. In the spiritual world, everything is conscious. The stone feels, when will Krishna come and sit on me? The cloud, when Krishna is feeling what? Hot. Immediately cloud senses, oh, our Lord Krishna is actually feeling hot. So what will happen? Immediately the cloud comes there and starts drizzling, so that Krishna feels cold. But in the material world doesn't happen like that. So for this, the push is required. So similarly, we are entering the world of artificial intelligence. How much ever artificial intelligence you may bring, until the natural intelligence touches that artificial intelligence cannot be activated. So this is the difference between material energy and spiritual energy. Spiritual energy by itself, but material energy, it always requires the touch of spiritual energy. That's why it's called inferior. Okay, understood? Okay, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much for such a wonderful class. It's nice to hear always your class and more on the fundamental